Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Rise Up in Real Estate, Season 8, Episode 5. I think we're Episode 5. We've got a few people already on the show. I mean, we are so stinking popular. People have to get on early. Look, Tara's already on. Good morning, Tara. Nice to see you. I think you got a new designation yesterday, Tara. I was impressed that you went and learned something about Horry County Schools. Good job. And then we've got Sue O'Shea already lighting it up. Good morning, Sue, from Pawleys Island, South Carolina. And
Can I tell you that Sue saved one of our agents and ran over to help with a locked door yesterday on the fly because our agent lives way further north, and Sue jumped in like the hero she is and saved them from driving 2 hours.
That's amazing. Good job, Sue. Sue is the healthiest helper that I know of. And we're gonna have her on as a guest one day to talk about her health habits, because I am very impressed. Daniel Dennis actually had yellow fever just about when he was speaking to us that one day, and she gave him some tips, and he worships Sue now. So I love that about her. But welcome to the show. We're glad that you're here. A few ground rules. Those of you that are on, if you want to, does this look right with our heads this big? Like, I don't know. What does it look like to you on social media? What does it look like to you on your computers? Just give us some feedback, because we're learning. Lawton hit a button a minute ago that made us all gigantic. And Ashley's now really concerned about her hair. I mean, so she's like, how are we doing?
Hair day, everybody.
Hair day. I think it looks great. You're like, I wish my camera was covered up. But give us some feedback on that. Real ground rules. We do this show today live on these social media channels that you're sitting on, or on YouTube, and then have a discussion. It's edited and it comes out on Monday of next year. Look at you with your strawberry shirt on. Love it. It's that time of year. Then on Monday next week, this show will be a podcast on all your podcast channels under the same name, Rise Up in Real Estate. If you want to know, what this is, I'm sorry, I got comments. Somebody said, Tara said it looks better before. Oh, you're on a phone, Tara, or you're on a computer? And Joey says everything looks good. Hey, Joey. Joey has the best.
It looks better before I was on the show, like way back.
Back when you had better hair, I think she's talking about.
Yeah.
Everything looks good. Stay and play. Look at Stay and Play Myrtle Beach. Welcome to the show, Stay and Play Myrtle Beach. You're going to learn something today. I can't wait, JD. Look at this. Ashley's sister's on the show. Ashley looks good as always. That's not your sister. That's Tara. So we're in coastal South Carolina. Before I forget that, we've had this show for several years now, and we enjoy it. It's really just for us, not really for anybody else. But I'm glad a few people are piping in to be at. Tara's like all on it. She said she got to be somewhere in Wilmington or something soon, so she might go away. You're on the phone, okay? So that we had a problem with that last week, didn't we, Lawton? Somebody on social media said it was looking all winky, like
yeah.
Trey and Dylan were saying it was bad news.
Sue just sent me a picture, because on one of our platforms, right, the show is just Tad's chin and me.
I think it's perfect. I'm all for it.
What is she watching it on? Is that like is that on her phone on one of the social channels, or what?
I don't know. I'm sure
I bet that's not on YouTube. I bet YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Is it? Huh.
Yeah.
Well, we're terrible at this, as you guys can see. And so I think it has something to do with this thing over here. See that? Our vertical view is not right. And we've known this for a few weeks. I can't change it. If I change it now, we might go away. So I'm sorry. Lawton's like, please don't try to change it.
Turn it sideways.
I'm going to turn it side. Turn your device sideways. Yeah. I'm going to work on the vertical. I'm writing myself in the view. So next week, you don't have to see my chin. Because, by the way, I have a lot of features. And my chins are one of my worst. So I'm sorry.
Chins multiple?
Yeah, my chins are my worst. I got this one. It's like, I don't know. I feel like a rooster sometimes. But anyway, this is a real estate show, by the way, not a fashion and look how we look kind of show. My head's really big today. It's so really good. Hey, Ashley, Lawton, how are you guys doing? Doing good?
Great.
Yeah. Yep, doing great. We have a warm start to the week here in South Carolina, where everybody wants to put all their plants in the ground. And lo and behold, we will have a frost by Friday. So Do not put your plants in the ground. That's what I have heard all over social media. Ed Piotrowski says so it must be true. But we enjoyed some summer-like weather, and now it's ready to get chilly again.
I hear a rattlesnake. Is
Whose
that
snake is that?
rattlesnake? What was that?
I heard
saw a
also, but it's not mine.
That was weird. I don't have a rattlesnake sound feature, so I'm not sure what that was. I did watch U.S. Marshals the other day, and a rattlesnake bit a guy. Maybe you're having flashbacks. Yes, Grandma said. My granny used to say, "Don't plant anything before Easter, no matter how warm it gets, how much pollen you see. Don't plant anything till Easter." So keep that in mind because it is going to get chilly over the weekend. But man, I drove to Charleston yesterday to Summerville to visit our offices down there. And holy cow, the pollen is out of control here in coastal South Carolina and North Carolina. And the further south you go, the worse it is. I mean, it's bad news. Anybody else seeing any pollen? How many allergy lovers do we have out there? Lawton, what's new with you since next week? Anything good? Anything noteworthy?
No, I mean the heat's kind of tough sometimes because I put so many open house signs out, and I forgot what it was like to. I have in someone's random living room wiping sweat off my forehead trying to look presentable, but yeah,
That's
not a ton new. No.
That's a video worth filming. You should do a social media.
Yeah,
post.
you'll probably see it at some point.
Don't you wish AI could put your signs down? It's the worst. Like the rest of an open house is so much fun, in my opinion. But the signs,
one of these days they might.
Yeah.
Well, there are people out there for that. You could do that. I mean, you could grab some people and have them do that. But anyway, we'll talk about leverage here in a few minutes. So this season 8, we're talking about the agent of the future. We want to hear what you guys want to know about today's topic. If those of you that are on the show, feel free. You can throw questions up, and we will address those one by one. Nothing's out of bounds. Like we had somebody ask what our favorite food was last week or a few weeks ago. That's fine. Favorite place to visit. Actually, let's ask you this question. I think this is a good place to start with the donkeys in mind. What's your favorite animal?
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess equally dogs and cats, just that they can live in my house and sit on my lap and, all the things. But if it's got fur, I just want to cuddle it so that nothing is off limits.
So that sounds like your dating, the intro to your dating app. If it has fur, I will cuddle it. I mean, if you don't start that way, I mean, that's up on you. You got a great opportunity there.
It does start that way, and I don't know. With my track record, maybe that's the problem.
Maybe you should change it. Yeah, that's funny. No wonder you end up with all the strays. Maybe they're reading your profile and they're like, "Oh, she's a good one." Yeah, so you're an animal lover. I knew that. So anyway, so today we're going to talk about AI. We've talked about AI theoretically. Last week we did a little bit of a jump off of AI to talk about some, differences in the way that clients and agents think. And I thought that was a very effective conversation. You added a lot to that, Ashley, with some discussions you've been having in classes. But today I want to head straight into how these two specifically, how Lawton and Ashley specifically, and you guys can pipe in too, pipe in and say how you use AI in your business daily. I don't know who this is, but I'm gonna throw it up there. Do anybody know this person? Hi, Karen.
No. I think I've worked with them a couple times though.
Karen with two. Oh, hurry up, dude! Explain. Karen with 2 R's is on the show. Glad to see you, Karen. Lots of fans out there, I can tell. So, how do they use it in their business every day? Like we talk about theory, we talk about what AI is, and Tyler talked at a high level about some stuff that we needed to hear, but we need to know, like, how do these people use it in their daily business? Like, what do you do? Ashley is a developer of agents. That's her title. So she spends her days talking to real estate agents, a lot of them, about what they use in their business to get to the goals that they have set for themselves. And Lawton is an agent. So I want to find out from them how they use it in their business. This person, I'm not going to show any more of your stuff, Karen. Sorry. You're going to be nice or you're not going to be noticed.
I just put him in timeout. I didn't know you could do that. I just put him in
that's
timeout.
awesome. Karen, we enjoy you being here, but not that much. So let's talk about how you guys use it. And I wanted to start this, and maybe some of you that are listening out there will throw this out too, because I hadn't thought of this before. When was the first time you heard the word AI? Like not the Jetsons. We probably have heard about it on Star Trek or whatever, but as a business tool, how did you hear? When did you hear about it? Can you guys remember when that was? Go ahead, Ashley.
I have to give a shout out to Cindy Cobb, who was on a discussion group session that we had via Zoom that any agent could get on and just talk about what was happening in their business. And she was the one that first said the words ChatGPT. And at that point, it was, you can use this to help you with all of your remarks and your social media posts, and there's no copyright infringement. So it's not like copy pasting from someone else's article and it'll write for you. Like that was my introduction to it. And I always try to give a shout out to Cindy for really being the one to get me to go down the rabbit hole and start looking at all the capabilities.
Did you say when that was? What year was that? Do you remember?
I cannot remember.
You think it's 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 or
yeah,
3?
About 2 or 3 years ago. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that because if you read about AI, I mean, these people were thinking about it a lot of years ago. Like this has been in development for a long time, but practically speaking, it finally got to the end user, which is, in the way I describe end user, it's somebody who has a normal brain, not the people that created it have super normal brains. How about you, Lawton? Was it the same? And how did you get introduced to it? What was it? Ashley? Did Ashley call you and say, "Hey, Cindy Cobb just said"? But how did it go?
No, I mean, I think I was actually a part of that class at some point, but I think it was 2 or 3 sounds right, because I think it was when I was still in college, like just joining some classes. So I think that's the case. But I mean, the first time I heard about it in general, I was in college, and it was kind of like senior year. It started to become a thing that people were using, at least chat. Business wise, it would have been, I mean, it was already in my mind from college. So it's not like someone brought it up to me, but definitely some of the classes, I remember that one specifically, that it started to be kind of like, oh, maybe we should look at this and see how we could use it.
Yeah, I remember it. Somebody, I don't know why I was around high school students, but I remember high school students talking about how their teachers were becoming very aware of the fact that some of their answers to tests and at-home assignments like essays and things like that were being written by chat. They were all of a sudden having to create this new stopgap in their curriculum to say you can't do that, because it was the same in their minds as a student's mind as using Google. Like you go and ask Google, who was Albert Einstein, and it would tell you. But you could go to chat and say, could you write me a 60-word paragraph about what Albert Einstein meant to innovation, and it would do the paragraph, and you could turn it in. So I remember hearing that. I don't know who would have told me that, but it was a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, that it started. And now, a few days ago, I think I posted this. My 8-year-old turned to my 10-year-old and said something like, "Have you used ChatGPT to look into that?" Like my 8-year-old said that. Okay. And they don't go to a magnet school where they're learning they don't have classes on AI. They're just learning about it from wherever they're hearing about it, talking to each other. So I thought that was interesting that even as far down as 8, 9, 10 years old, these people are talking about it. So can somebody comment? You don't think we booted everybody out, do we, when we booted her out? I think the other people can still carry.
No, it was just one.
Can you still speak? Okay. All right, cool. Maybe you guys can share when you first, was it 2 or 3 years for most of us, like that we kind of first heard about it? Can you imagine where it's come in 2 or 3 years? I mean, isn't that amazing? Like, I remember it being talked about in real estate as, let it help you write your listing description. Mm-hmm. It's good. Sue is still here. Sue's like May of 2023. Specifically May. Like, I like that. I'd like to know that story. Who told you about it? I bet it was not your buddy in Connecticut, Jeff Wright. Maybe it was because Jeff's on the cutting edge. Who did you hear about it from, Sue? But now, like, you even hear people lead with, oh, don't use it for listing descriptions. But that's how we kind of started, isn't it? Back then. Can you tell, Ashley, when somebody uses it for a listing description, when you read a listing description or you get an answer in an email? I got one yesterday. 100% sure somebody did it with ChatGPT. Can you tell that? Can you ferret it out now?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good at recognizing it, but even I have been tricked a couple times on social media where I believed the story that I was reading and got to the last sentence and it says, this is AI generated. And I was like, dang, they had me going. So it is hard to differentiate, in my opinion. You know, you can get into ChatGPT. A lot of people don't take the time to do this, but there's a personalization setting and you can put examples of your writing before you used AI and teach it how you sound. So then you can remove that it sounds like AI. So you can't probably tell all the time if people are setting up their personalization the right way, then it'll really come across sounding like them.
That's interesting. So I should have said this in the beginning. If either of these people, Ashley or Lawton, say something that you're interested in, you're going to have to reach out to them after. There will be show notes that we can refer back to, but when it goes to a podcast, but if they say something interesting, like Ashley just gave you a tip that you might not know exactly how to do, reach out to her and she'll help you do that. I know Ashley loves it. I want to talk about fear too in a few minutes, but in general, Ashley loves it and has embraced it. And so is Lawton. So that's why they're here. And I want you to know too, these are normal human beings. These are run of the mill. These are, well, normal, meaning like not supernaturally smart, very smart, but not, you guys can do this too. Just like the two of them can. So I want you to be able to reach out. Sue says, okay, Marky Lemons, yeah, was a pioneer.
I've done several of her trainings. Yep, she's fantastic.
You guys write that name down if you haven't heard of her, and apparently she's got some good stuff out there. And Joey, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Joey said it took me a while to get used to it. I think there is a fear factor. Now I'm going to have to pay a low royalty to that show, but there's a fear factor that has to do with AI that we'll address in a few moments. And it's interesting, Ashley and Lawton, how proud is ChatGPT that when people talk about AI, they use ChatGPT synonymously? Because that's not the only engine out there. It's not the only language model out there, is it?
No, and I have not really embraced the other tools, and it is next up on my to-do list to start learning what some of the other platforms offer. And I have been all in on ChatGPT. It's almost like that was the amount of time I had to devote to learning. And so I just stayed with that one. But I've heard great things about Claude. I've heard great things about Perplexity. So I have to start looking into how they all work. I always tell people, remember when we had cable TV and everybody didn't like their bill? And then we came out with Netflix, and you're like, this is fantastic. I'll be able to cancel cable and save all this money and just have my Netflix subscription. And then you wanted Hulu, and then you wanted Amazon Prime Video, and then you wanted YouTube TV. And now you're paying triple what you were paying for cable, which started out as this amazing money-saving tool. And so with AI, I think it can get pricey to go down that rabbit hole of subscriptions. There's a certain amount you can do on a free entry level with those platforms. And I don't know the differences in the others, but anyway, I just am trying to be cautious that you could all of a sudden be paying $300 a month to AI tools. And I want to be selective.
Yeah. And there's certainly some ebb and flow with it. It was interesting to me that Google was there are other search engines, but Google dominated the search engine space. But the AI space is cloudy to me. Like there are people will say it's not, I called it Gronk forever because I'm a huge football fan and Gronkowski. So I call it, and they used to call him Gronk. If Lori White's on the show, she'll appreciate that. But Gronk is not it. It's Grok. Grok is one. You mentioned Perplexity. There's something about Perplexity that's not, I don't think it's its own language model. I think it's a compilation of some things. So it's not exactly the same, but that's a tool. Google has their own tool that's built into, as you would expect. If you haven't noticed, when you Google something on your phone now, an AI response comes up first in most cases, rather than it used to be. It would give you a list of things that you could go click on. Nice lipstick, Ashley. Now your lips and I need lipstick because look how bad we look compared to you. But that would be a weird show. That's a whole nother thing.
It's only chapstick, but thanks.
Oh, it is? It looks like it's colored. It's fantastic.
It is. Yep. Chapstick. That's what you need in your life.
Listen, I have a lot of girls, and I didn't know there was.
I'm pretty sure colored chapstick is just lipstick, isn't it?
No, it's not.
That's episode 6. We'll get to that. That's episode 6. But there are tools, and I think there's some ebb and flow with chat's the leader in this, but then they slow down their development a little bit, and another one will surge forward. And if you want to do some deep research, you got to use this tool. So I don't know, for the basic user, what you guys would recommend, I think probably is, if you haven't dove, is that the right word? No, probably not. If you haven't jumped into AI very much at all, the $20 a month version of Chat GPT is where you should start. Is that true, or should you just do the free version? What do y'all think? If you haven't done anything at all,
I feel like if you haven't done anything at all, you should use the free version. I don't think people are even using the free version to the extent that they could, for the most part. I mean, I think the $20 is incredible for $20 a month, but I think people would jump to that before they realize a lot of it just gets you more, but most of what it gets you can already do to some extent. And if you spend time every day learning, you can do a lot of that. I mean, it was probably a month ago that I got the paid version, and I've been using it for a year and a half, and I haven't ever felt restricted, except for on a couple things like image generation or things like that. But most of the time, it's not a restriction. So that's what my encouragement would be, is don't think you have to go to the paid right now if you've never opened it. If you've opened it for 2 years, that's the next step. But Carrie just said it too. The free version does way more than what most people probably need, and they should just spend time there for a while.
And it's chatgpt.com. Is that where you find it? Or you just put ChatGPT into Google, which blows my mind, and you click on the website, and there you can start.
It used to be openai.com. I don't know if that's still the
probably. That's probably
URL.
Yeah, OpenAI is the parent company. You're exactly right there. Would you recommend the same thing, Ashley? Just hop on and start knocking around with the free version?
Yes, the free version will do a ton. I think at some point, once you have learned how it complements your business in multiple ways, what you're going to find is that you're going to get a limit on what it will do for you in a day. So as you use the free version, it can do most of what the paid version can do, not all, but most. And then the threshold seems to be that eventually it's going to say, you've used up enough images for the day, come back tomorrow, or you can't give us any more PDFs to look through and extract data, so come back tomorrow. So eventually it's going to just cut you off on how many times you can use it. And I think that's probably the threshold for moving into the paid version.
Gotcha. So both of you guys just pretty much use Chat GPT. Is that correct?
I use Gemini quite a bit now because it's built into Google Workspace. So if you have a company Google account where you use Google Drive and Gmail, et cetera, then it is included in that Google Workspace. If you have an individual account, then you have to pay for Gemini to get into it'll be like a helper on a sidebar in your email. And you can just say, I need all the emails that have attachments from this transaction at 123 Oak Street, and it'll just find all of them for you. Or it will be a sidebar in Google Sheets, and you can say, I have these columns in here and I need a formula that's going to add up A, B, and C if column B says pending, and it'll give you the formula. So it's just this helper off to the side. So Gemini is great, and Gemini has been a little ahead of ChatGPT in image creation as of late. And I feel like those things always flip-flop who's the front runner for image creation.
Yeah, I agree. I think so young still, right? I mean, there's still so much development happening, so much growth. They're adding new features all the time. The research is getting deeper, where the pool of information that they're pulling from And that's something I've always found fascinating. It says it's called artificial intelligence. And in fact, it's not artificial at all. It's real. It's data that we've all put in there that it's pulling from, that just has a beautiful way of compiling it all and making it usable for us. So I thought, Nano Banana is very impressive. That is a part of, is that a part of Gemini? Where is that?
Yes, it is part of Google, but I think Nano Banana is really the front runner on image creation.
Yeah.
Right, Sue? I might be wrong, but I think that's what I have heard.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. So let's talk philosophy for a moment. When you guys heard about AI from Cindy Cobb and from Ashley through Cindy Cobb or in college, why did you decide? Because there's shiny objects all the time. Let's be honest. Every day, today, something will go across your email that proven to be the best. Like, that's just the way it always is. Why did you decide did you think this was worth your time and energy investment to look into it and start using it when you first heard about it?
I'm a terrible writer, so I loved that it was going to take my messy thoughts and put them into something that sounded professional and competent. So that was my first attraction to it, I guess.
Yeah. What about you, Lawton?
Yeah, initially there was no investment. It was free, and it was a way to make a lot of things easier and quicker. But I also just the first interactions I had was just using it instead of Google before Google had really put their AI at the top. I just used it as Google, and the responses back felt more intellectual because it was a conversation rather than just an answer. So, that was it for me. It was free, and it made a lot of things easier.
Okay. And talk to me a little bit, but I'm getting ready to ask you, give me 2 examples of how you use it in your daily business. What I'd like to know, though, talk to me a little bit about fear, because I do hear like Joey just mentioned it a minute ago. And I think, Ashley, you've told me this too. There's skepticism in this whole thing because there's a lot of it that's unknown. And I'm sure maybe people felt the same fear when you've got mail started. Like, now their personal emails were on the interweb, like they were out there and who could get them and what are they going to do with it, and my images and such. Talk to me a little bit about do y'all have any fear, any reservations about it? Ashley, you're nodding. Why don't you hop in? And these are our opinions. This doesn't mean we have any answers or any knowledge of anything that we shouldn't or should know, but how do you feel about it? That's what I want to know.
I was very hesitant in the beginning to give it my email address to sign up for an account. Like, I just thought it's somehow just going to have access to everything in my email. I made sure that the password was something completely different than any password I use on any other site. Like, I was very cautious as I was diving into learning the world of AI. I've probably loosened my grip quite a bit as I've worked on it more and more. But yes, skeptical, and then also trying to be responsible in using it when it's going to help me accomplish something, so that I can leverage my time, or I can be more informed, or I can brainstorm, but not abusing. And I'm not above making a funny picture from time to time. I will do it just like the rest of us, but I don't sit down and spend 3 hours of funny pictures to text out to friends, because there's a big environmental effect on all the data centers that are running for AI to operate. And I know that that's just one small little drop in the bucket where I'm going to try to just be responsible with it, kind of like recycling. And they tell you that they're just taking everything to the dump anyway, even though I'm spending every single day sorting all my recycling and washing it. But I'm going to keep doing it, because in my head, I'm going to just think maybe I'm making a choice that adds up and matters overall. So I try to use it responsibly, but I'm very cautious with it and what I'll connect to it and what information I will input into the system.
Yeah, that's good. Lon, what do you think?
I don't know. I think there's definitely skepticism there every once in a while. I think maybe naively there's not as much fear. I don't have a ton of fear about it. But that's just because I'm very optimistic on, I don't think it's going to replace humans. I think if I wasn't optimistic on that, that's where the fear would come from, because I would be like, there's hundreds of thousands of people that what they do on a day-to-day basis is going to be not needed. But I also think that with going so far to tech, we're going to end up going back to simple human interaction is going to be like huge, way more than it is now. But I don't think there's a ton of, I mean, I don't even know what my password is, so I should probably check that. But there's not as much fear in that regard. I don't think, but I think that's maybe, sometimes I think that could be a generational difference too, because people my age have been so used to just like, probably more than we should, like being able to click a button on our phone and things happen. Or like, it doesn't seem as crazy to our generation, I think, in a lot of ways. Maybe naively again to where we should think more about it. But I don't know there's a ton of fear, but there's definitely some skepticism sometimes.
I think that's a pretty wise, we could do a whole show probably. And I haven't read much about that. Like the generational adoption of this tool. Because for me, like we have 3 generations represented on this screen, Ashley, myself, and Lawton. And I don't have a lot of fear, probably because I don't have a lot of fear about stuff in general. But I think people my age are more skeptical. And then you have Ashley's age behind me. They're a little bit less skeptical. And then Lawton is just like for me, Apple Pay and paying with my phone, like at a thing. And I'm like, I'm not really comfortable with all that. But I know Lawton might not even have a wallet. I don't even know. Like he doesn't have credit cards, or I write checks still. So I think there's this gap. I'd love to know what the adoption rate is. Probably what percentage of Lawton's generation has adopted this tool versus me. I know in the real estate space it's different, because when we have classes, we have the outlier that are my age that come in and want to jump in. But most are like, I just don't have time. I'm not going to worry with that, and over time, I think we'll all be on board with it. And I do appreciate you, Ashley, talking about the environmental effect, because I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that, and I should. So thank you for bringing that up, because at the end of the day, this is all getting processed and generated. Look at Joey. Way to go, Joey. Venmo, does that make any sense to anybody? We could also talk about Bitcoin. Like, did somebody really just create this concept that there's going to be electronic money one day and then everybody bought it? I don't get it. Like, it's so, you can see generationally, I'm not as smart as Lawton is. But I think the AI and its usage over time is probably like when Gmail hit. I remember when you got mail hit, at first people were like, how are we ever going to get up to speed on this? And now we do emails while we're driving our car from our phone. Well, not while we're driving, sir and ma'am, just while we're at stoplights. So anyway, let's talk about how you use it. We've got a few minutes left here where we can talk about specific things. Let's start with you, Lawton. Tell me, if you had to identify one thing that you do with AI the most, what would it be? Use it as a search most?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking in terms of day-to-day life, yes. I mean, it's, if I have a question about something or a thought about how I could do something better, I go there immediately. If we're talking in business, most of what I do on a day-to-day basis revolves around either social media or open houses. And I've created a social media manager basically to where I just have to worry about having a personality and creating the actual videos, but the ideas, the when I should post, how I post it, the writing, all of that all comes from it. It notifies me when it comes. So I think, yeah, if we're talking day to day, like search engine general questions, I've learned a ton from things I would have never thought. I mean, if there's a bare spot in my yard, I take a picture of it and I say, hey, like, this is our grass. What do you think I should do about it? And instead of maybe 3 years ago, Google would have said probably water, sunlight, like this, like ChatGPT is telling me to rake it, do this. You could put something like this in if the drainage is bad. And it's telling me like I don't know if you thought about this, but your downspout's pointing right towards it. And I'm like, so it's like looking deeper than I would have thought. So that's probably day to day, yes, but in business, it's definitely revolving around social media.
Actually, that would be a good class for Lawton to teach. How to make AI a social media manager, because he used it he used those words, and not some people won't come because it's social media and they're not interested, but that's a pretty neat thing. And I'm always impressed when I use because I use Chat GPT in the same way you do, like when I'm have an issue and I want to find out what the answer is. But isn't it interesting? Like if you take a picture of your crappy lawn and put it on there, it will, like mine's named Ruby. I wanted to have a sixth child and I wanted to name her Ruby. So we're not having that. So I named her Ruby. And I'll say, hey, Ruby, here's a picture of my yard. Can you give me some advice? And Ruby, first thing she'll say is, hey, Tad, nice to see you, or nice to talk to you again. Hope you're doing well. Man, I can understand why you might be frustrated about that. That really looks less than what your standard would be. Here's a few. It's like she immediately connects to the emotion of it, that can be scary, right? There is AI using empathy, which is frightening if you want to go deep on that, but it is different than Google. And I know Google probably hit the panic button when all this started happening, and they had a meeting and they said, you know what, we better bring that thing to the top and we better show them that we have this tool, or we're going to not be the search engine of choice anymore. So when you're cooking, Lawton, like on your new grill, you'll go say, how do I make Fiesta corn casserole smoked on my smoker? And it tells you, doesn't it?
I haven't come up with a recipe since I got married and live with my wife now. Like I have a thread, and I haven't made this an agent yet. I probably should, but I have a thread that has everything revolving around anything with my health, anything that I care about with my health, what I want to look like, my workout, all of it's in there. And then I've moved into there also eating. What should we eat, me and my wife? What meal should we make? So then like yesterday, we didn't have food. So I'm like, hey, listen, I need to go to the store and have 5 meals that are pretty cheap, pretty easy, but that will really like, what should we do? It's got 5 instantly pictures, what I should buy. You can even put like, I'm going to Publix, think about the layout of the store and which way I should walk. And it'll put everything in order of how you walk around the store. It's crazy, and it makes me feel super lazy. But at the same time, then I'm at the store for 30 minutes, not an hour and a half. And then I'm doing something else with the other hour.
I've told this story before, but that is eerily similar, well, to you reaching your goals. No, I'm just kidding. Ashley, that word popped in my head. That's eerily similar to this speaker that I heard a few years ago. That was when I got introduced to virtual assistants, and he had a virtual assistant for everything. And he told us, he had on a black shirt and black pants. He goes, you'll be surprised when I say this, but I only have this black shirt. I've got 10 of these. And I've only got 10 of these pairs of pants and 10 of these pairs of shoes. And in the morning, I just put the same thing on every day. Now he's not out looking for a wife, clearly, but he does eliminate a large frustration that he has. And someone told me this the other day. They went in their closet and got rid of everything they had worn in the last year. And now they can easily or more easily make a decision about what to wear. And it cuts down on the time. That's efficiency. It's frightening that you use it that way, Lawton, but it's very, very smart. I mean, Ashley just learned something, I bet. You told me that thing about walking around the grocery store, and that's brilliant. Tell me, didn't you say also, this might be more than you want to tell the crowd, Lawton, but didn't you say you took a picture? This is scary. You took a picture of yourself without a shirt on, and you said, if I do this for 6 months, what will I look like? And it gave you a rendering of what you might look like?
Yeah, here's the scarier part is every month since then I've posted another picture with my shirt off to see what my progress is. But my thought is, anybody could see me at a pool or a beach with my shirt off and take a picture of me, and then it could be all over the internet. Why not just put it there myself? So I did that, and it was in the same thread, the same where I'm talking about what I eat or what exercise I want to do. And I kind of had a goal for some personal reasons of like a certain time that I wanted to look a different way. And said, hey, listen, like this is 6 months away. What do I need to do? That's where that came from. Then it showed me a picture. And then it was like sort of the empathy thing you're talking about. Like whenever I, sometimes I'll say like, okay, this day I ate this many calories over what I should have. What should I do to get back to being able to look that way? And it'll say like at the bottom of it, it'll say, well, listen, like some days if it's harder to not eat something or harder to want to go to the gym, look at that picture I first gave you. this is what's possible, right? But then I have like every month since then, I've taken another picture the exact same way, posted it up to the thread, and been like, hey, what's my progress? Like, and I have to tell it. First time I didn't, but I have to say super strict, like, be totally honest with me. Like, I need you to be, because the first time it was like, wow, you're making great progress. And I'm like, I look the same. But it does. And then it tells me now, like, because I told it to be honest, it tells me what parts of my body, hey, your biceps look like they've done this or something. Like, it's crazy. And it is a little bit like that. The first time I did that, I was like, ChatGPT could edit this picture in a different way that would look really odd. But yeah, it's ways that I try to think outside the box on things that you would never have been able to do with Google.
That's a pretty practical use. Frightening, because she can be very Ruby. I probably shouldn't do that to Ruby. That would be weird. Hey, Ruby, how am I looking today? That's not good. But wow, have you thought of anything like that, Ashley? Do you use it in any personal ways like that?
I have a project created for better eating habits. I am not giving it any pictures, and I do not plan on doing that. But to help me figure out like how close did I stay on track to what I wanted to accomplish today with eating goals, and so I have that going.
So it's called I think you called it a thread a few times. It's called a project, right? There's not threads in chat. Is that right?
Either one. So what's cool is that you can set up a project where you go in and you give that project instructions, whether this is your health and fitness project and you tell it what your goals are, and it keeps that information as instructions. They don't kind of disappear after a while. Or you can have a thread going that you go back to. You know how on the left-hand side, it'll name your chats that you've had. You can just keep opening the same chat and continue the conversation. But for things like what Lawton was talking about with a social media content creator, I like for agents to be able to use projects for that, because it keeps the information. What's the word that I'm looking for here, Lawton? It's not losing stuff as you continue over time. It's just keeping it filed. What's that?
Retention.
Yeah, it's got a lot better retention. Yep.
Yeah.
See, everybody knows why I need ChatGPT to write for me, because it can find the words that I can't find. I could also just call Lawton and ask him to write my emails.
I think there is something where you have to tell it to have a memory in some regard. I don't think it always remembers everything, because you can start the same new chat and it goes away. But if you use projects and threads, I think it keeps up with that better. Ashley, I wanted you to talk about for a minute your favorite use, and I really like, you can choose whatever you want, but I really like how you use it when you record meetings or classes, because I think talk about how agents could use that with their customers and clients, and I think that's a gold nugget.
Yeah, I think so also. It's a big time saver in my opinion. So any smartphone has some kind of app you can download that's just a voice recorder, and you can record conversations. You would want to let people know that you're recording the conversation, I would imagine. I don't know all the laws on that. That is not my lane, but just give them a heads up that you're recording. If you're with clients, etc., especially in that case, and you can just hit record. And I did this for several sessions at the convention we just went to at R4. I did this yesterday to listen to an amazing keynote speaker on experience and hospitality. And then at the end, when the session finishes and you hit stop, there's 3 dots on my app that says copy transcript. And then I just open my ChatGPT app and I say organize and summarize. And then I paste the transcript. That transcript for an hour-long keynote speaker is pages and pages and pages. And within 30 seconds, it'll give me the highlights and bullet points or key phrases to start using in conversations on a daily basis. Instead of only saying organize and summarize, I can also say, I need this organized and summarized, but at the top, I want you to give me my action items that I have to take care of, and give me the action items that this particular buyer that I met with needs to take care of before our next meeting. I could also say, write the buyer's email follow-up to thank them for their time and remind them of their next steps and what I'm going to do as my next steps, and a quick recap of what we covered today. So one transcript, I can just say all of those instructions and it'll give me everything. So now I can take the bullet points and put it in my CRM, my customer relationship management system, so that I have notes to go back to. I can send off the buyer email thanking them for their time. I can get my to-do list right there in my hands and start checking it off. And all of that would have been an hour or two of follow-up after an agent has a conversation with a customer or client for 1, 2 hours, 3 hours of finding out what's important to someone on their next home purchase and what the next steps are. So you don't have to go back and sit down and type it all out. By the time you walk from the conference room back to your desk at your office, everything is finished. So to me, that's a way to then leverage your time in a great way. Just like Lawton said, I only had to spend 30 minutes at the store instead of an hour and a half. Now I can do something else with that hour. So I love the memo record. I have done this at my dog's vet appointment so that I could remember everything I needed to take care of and what the next steps were and what recovery was going to look like. My brother recently bought a house and I did this at the closing table. And by the time I got to the parking lot, I was in my car sending him an email reminding him of what he needed to change with his driver's license and car registration and primary tax rate, and then a recap of everything the attorney explained to him about his mortgage and the terms and conditions. It was finished by the time I shut my car door. So I love that feature.
That's incredible. And that email that you sent about that speaker that you heard yesterday was very impressive. It is worth mentioning a couple things, I think. Do you have to get permission to record with your customers and clients? Do you ever do that? Like when you went to the vet, did you say, hey, do you mind? I'm just going to record this. Or did you just do it inconspicuously and they didn't know?
Okay, so responsibly, I should have told them. I did not tell the vet that I was recording. With clients and customers, I would always let them know. You can also do it during a phone call. So this is helpful if we're driving down the road and a client calls with questions. Just say, listen, I'm driving. I'm not going to take any notes. I want to make sure I get this right. I'm going to hit record so that I can grab all the content as soon as I get to my office and make sure I take care of everything we talk about today. And if I'm at the conference room table across from them, I'm also letting them know. If you meet virtually and you turn on record on Zoom or Google Meet, whatever platform you like to use, it will announce to the room that this session is being recorded. I think that it's just becoming mainstream to expect, that may be happening. And then there's devices made specifically for this. And see, this is also, to your point, something that I'm a skeptic on. You can now buy a watch or a pendant or a stick-on for the back of your phone, and it records your entire day. It doesn't give it to you as like a verbatim recording back that you listen to. But if you're talking to somebody and say, yeah, Wednesday at 10 a.m. works great for the podcast, I'm going to put it on my calendar, and it will put it on your calendar because it heard you talk about that. So there's, even that level. Right now, I am manually turning on a voice recorder and then translating.
Well, I hope Lawton's using all that, because if I were an agent, I could think of a script that you could ask chat to write a script to this, where you, at first meeting with a client, if you explain to them why you're doing that and the tools that you're using to do that, to me, it sets you apart as an expert, because you are admitting your weakness of remembering everything, and you don't want to forget. It's valuable. I also don't want to spend my time writing while you're talking, so I can look at you and pay attention to what you're saying and really get the nonverbal communication from you. So I'm going to record this, and I'm also going to use you could call it whatever you want. You call it AI, or you can give it a name, an assistant or whatever, to help me assimilate this information, because I promise you, I don't know what the percentage would be, but it's really high of agents that are just going by the seat of their pants, and they're remembering what they want to remember, and they're forgetting a lot of valuable information. Mm-hmm. If you're not using that as an agent, that might be the gold nugget of the whole thing. And you can use it in every regard in your life. I mean, how cool is that? But I wanted to say, in Lawton's case and in your case, my coach tells me AI is 30, 40, 30. 30% is the prompt that you give it out of 100. 30% is the prompt. So you got to work on that and get it right. Good prompts go a long way, don't they? The way you ask it, the more detail you can give it, the better it is. And it learns over time and you get better at it. 40% is what AI does for you and the output that you get. So it's going to do a ton of work. Ashley just said a ton of work. Lawton was using a personal example and some stuff with social media for open houses. 40% is going to be what the language model uses and does for you. And then don't forget, there's 30% on the back end that you better proof it. Don't just throw what you get back out to the world, because sometimes it's silly. Sometimes it makes mistakes. Images, things are spelled wrong. Sometimes, like I did this crazy thing where I had a great picture of my kids at the trampoline park, and I wanted to send it to Mandy because I'd taken all 4 of them. I was so proud. My older Casey showed up. My oldest daughter showed up. She bought ice cream for all of them, and they were all eating ice cream in this picture. And I'm like, Mandy's not going to want to see us all eating ice cream. So I actually put the thing in chat and said, take the ice cream out. I want this picture without the ice cream because I want to send it to my wife. It's a great picture. I don't know if Mandy's listening, but if she is, I'm in trouble. So it took the ice cream out, which was remarkable, and it switched some of their faces. So now Archer had Grady's face and Hazel looked like Casey. It was the weirdest. I don't know how it did that. So anyway, there's 30% on the back end. Do you agree, Ashley, that you should proof what you get back from the language model?
100%.
Because I know that, like, your letter that you sent yesterday was very impressive, long, thorough. It gave not only the content, but it gave how can we do this in our business. Oh, great. Oh, hi, Randy. Thank you so much.
It's fantastic.
Sometimes I use illustrations that are made up just for effect, and that was one of those. Just one, I think I sent you that picture, and we've already talked about this. I hope, or else I'm getting flowers on the way home. But that email that you sent was very thorough, and it had follow-up things to do as an agent, and it was that fast. So agents are lucky to have you. I know you've been instrumental in a lot of things Lawton's doing, Ashley. So I appreciate that. He would never admit it, but he is good. So real quickly as we get off of here, I want you to tell me: is there anything that you're excited about with AI? Anything that you can't wait to try, or you're looking forward to what it can do next? Anything specific that we might not know about that you're kind of getting ready to learn? Or not? But maybe the answer could be no. I don't know.
Lawton, do you want to go first? I have something in my head, but if you have something, you can go.
Yeah. So for me, I do a lot of social media, and I with the manager I've made, it's increased the amount that I've been able to do. And with that, I listen to Gary Vee a lot. I don't know if y'all listen to him. Way out there, but in terms of marketing, a great source. And basically the idea is whichever videos do the best, to put a little bit of money behind it in social media ads to a certain area. And I think I learned this actually from Tyler the other day, but I've been looking into it. Like, I do ads through Facebook Ad Manager, and now there's an AI tool that basically, instead of going to Facebook Ad Manager, I go into the AI tool, and I'm just telling it, hey, like, I want to do this in terms of what Gary Vee would suggest. So research him, find out what you need to know about him, and then it takes control of my screen on that one page and basically adjust my ads to be exactly what he would do from all of the content he's ever put out. And it's been crazy because it's something that, one, I don't know how to do. Two, if I needed to know how to do it, it would take me hours to figure out. But instead, I just go into this AI and say, hey, can you do this? Set up my ads how they need to be. And now my ads are ready to run. All I have to do is click once and then it goes. So that's super exciting for me because it's the next step in the social media journey I want to do. And now it's like, it doesn't even feel like a step. It's just me clicking a couple buttons. So Ashley probably has something better, but that's kind of niche down to what I'm doing. So
no, I want an appointment on your calendar for you to teach me how this works, Lawton. I think that's really amazing.
Just say when ChatGPT is listening right now. So
yeah, it'll schedule it for us.
yeah.
I'm going to send my avatar to the meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
So what about you, Ashley? What are you excited about?
So I think that there's already these capabilities, but I just don't know the tools yet because I believe that Claude really already accomplishes a lot of what I would like to be able to get into, which is less copy paste. So ChatGPT, everything that it's sharing, you're copy pasting it manually somewhere. And what I'm really looking forward to is having something built into the CRM to just take that voice transcription, give it the bullet points and put the notes in correctly into the CRM and give it the hashtags and set it up on the drip that you want and just seamlessly one step input, or posting to different platforms on social media. So some people probably already have that working for them. Tyler would be a good example. Maybe Lawton already has that going where you don't have to do so much copy paste. But, you know, my mouse clicker is tired. I'm tired of doing copy paste, right? So
No, Tyler specifically mentioned that about Claude recently to me in some regard. So if you call him, I'm sure he is working on that too. How cool is that? Like it exists on your desktop along with everything else that you're doing. I think Claude does in some way. But I'll say good discussion today. Like anytime you talk about AI, it's like taking the top off of one of those things that shoots that crazy worm out, you know, like you're peeling it back, like what's in here, and all of a sudden this thing's in your face. That's how AI feels to me. Like there's so much to try to put our minds around. But I wanted today to have some conversation practically with people that are doing it. And I can't think of anything. I mean, Lawton has shared some personal stuff about grocery store and personal fitness. And Mandy, if you're still there, I don't know why we haven't been doing this for our meals every week. To say, and you take a picture of your refrigerator and say, what can I make out of this? You know, there's crazy things that we don't think of. And then Ashley, I mean, if our agents are not sitting with you on a regular basis, learning this stuff, they're missing out. I mean, or you just work more if you want to and harder and not use the tools. But Ashley, thank you for being where you are and open to learning this. You're like a pioneer because there's a lot of this we don't know yet. But I'm proud that you're standing there for us, kind of scratching the surface and turning it on to agents that are interested in it. And I appreciate you guys tuning in today. This was Rise Up in Real Estate. We're in the middle of season 8. Today was AI with Lawton and Ashley. I have confirmed that April the 8th, we're going to have the CMN champion child that we saw at R4. She's going to be live on our show and with her mom, Ariel and Shakira. So we got to figure out how to do this better, like our faces, because there'll be 5 of us. And then we are going to have another special guest later in April too on the show. So I'm excited about those upcoming episodes, but we will meet again next Wednesday. We'll have some topic that you'll be interested in. And you guys know that you can always reach out to us if there's something you want to talk about or have on the show. We would love to do it. But Ashley, Lawton, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you for being here, and Rise Up Nation, we'll see you soon.
thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah.